Quinnipiac hockey alumni making an impact in the pros.
Former Bobcat baseball player recorded his first major league hit.
And fall sports season has just kicked off, so we welcome you back to Studio 125. Sports Paws starts right now.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. We have plenty of news to cover, so Gage, do you want to get us started?
Yes, why not? Let's start off with the ice hockey rink. It seems that Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team has a Stanley Cup champion in its midst. The 2022 Stanley Cup final between the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche saw the Avalanche winning in 6 games to secure the cup. Former Quinnipiac defenseman Devon Taves became the first Quinnipiac hockey alumni to win the cup. In the 20 games leading to the Stanley Cup, Taves scored 5 goals and registered 10 assists for a total of 15 points. Taves also helped lead the Bobcats to the 2016 national title game and arguably the best season in program history. Switching locker rooms, former Quinnipiac women's ice hockey forward Danielle Marmer was recently hired by the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins hired Marmer as a player development and scouting assistant during the 2021 to 2022 campaign. Danielle Marmer served as one of the 12 participants in the Boston Bruins Diversity and Inclusion Mentorship Program. Marmer previously served as Quinnipiac's Director of Player Development and Operations for the past 3 seasons. Marmer made a special appearance last week to greet the incoming first-year students on campus.
Former Quinnipiac Bobcat baseball star Matthew Baden recorded his first major league hit on July 4th for the San Diego Padres. Baden was drafted in the 32nd round by the Padres in the 2017 first-year MLB player draft. He currently has the Quinnipiac program record of a 25-game hit streak, while also being the only player in Bobcat history to have 240 hits, 130 runs, and 100 runs scored. Baden was optioned back to San Diego's AAA team on August 26th and looked to find his way back to the big leagues. Some big-name Bobcats entered the transfer portal before the upcoming season. Men's ice hockey forwards Ty Solanic and Ethan Lay left the program this past year. Solanic joined the University of Wisconsin, and Lay now attends Bentley University. Onto the diamond, baseball star Danny Melnick is now at Rutgers, and softball's Caleb Thomas is now going to be hitting home runs for Campbell University. Those are a few of the biggest stars that left Quinnipiac this year. Former Bobcat goaltender Jared Mazzillo signed a professional contract with the Greenville Triumph Soccer Club on August 18th. Mazzola was the spring 2021 MAC Goalkeeper of the Year. The New York native played 43 games during his time at the Quinnipiac University, while recording a 1.11 goal against average in that span. This is his first professional contract after playing 2 seasons in the USL League Two.
Speaking of men's soccer, Keith, the Bobcats made the trip to Burlington, Vermont to take on the Catamounts. Let's see how they fared. And it was the Bobcats who were able to bounce back from their season opening loss to take down the Catamounts 2-0. Their first win on the young season, the Quinnipiac offense was led by senior forward Parag Asen as he found the back of the net twice in the first half. Matthew Pisani was sensational in the net for the Bobcats, stopping all 6 shots he faced. The second half of this win, Vermont tried to cut into the deficit as they totaled 13 shots on the Quinnipiac defense. Eric DaCosta and the Bobcats are looking to make it 2 in a row as they hosted the Hartford Hawks this past weekend. Let's roll the tape. After 2 games on the road, the Bobcats return to Hamden for their home opener. As they're getting into huddle and they're all set and underway, we get things off here in the first half. Tomas Vikula passes the ball to David Brisedo, who passes it back to Alexander Sterngard. Sterngard sends the ball down the line to Parag Asen, who tips it over to Jared Smith. Then Smith will cross it to Brisedo for the opening goal of the contest. 1-0 Quinnipiac. Still in the first half we go. And it is Brisedo once again, as Sterngard would find Brisedo in the middle, and Asen flicks it with his back heel over to Brisedo for his second goal of the game, giving the Bobcats a 2-0 lead going into the half. In the second half, halfway through, the Bobcats would make another push on offense. Tomas Vikula receives the ball through inside, shoots and misses. He tries again but misses. Bersato gets a try and misses. Then Svekula retains possession but ends up getting fouled by the Hartford defender. Meanwhile, on the penalty kick, Svekula stops in his run-up and then nails the bottom right corner of the net to push the lead to 3-0. And that will be the final score as Quinnipiac will secure the victory over their in-state rivals. It'll be 3-0. The final score. Quinnipiac improves to 2-1 on the season. With all the soccer action in the books, let's take a look at which Quinnipiac athletes took home some hardware. Senior forward Brock Austin and sophomore goalkeeper both took hardware to Hamden. Austin was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week, while Matthew Pisani was named MAC Defensive Player of the Week. This past week, Austin scored a total of 6 points in 2 games. Austin has recorded 53 career points in his 45-game tenure with Quinnipiac, while Pisani registered back-to-back shutouts with 8 saves over the 2-game win streak.
Now, let's move on to the women's soccer team as they face off against the Maine Black Bears on Saturday. Again, on Saturday at noon, the Quinnipiac Bobcats take on the Maine Black Bears and look to bounce back against Maine after suffering the very first loss of the season against the Yale Bulldogs. And jumping into the first half, the game is scoreless until the Black Bears try to stop Rebecca Cook right here, but as you wait and see, going to be a penalty because Rebecca Cook is unstoppable and Maine has no answer. She gets a shot right here. What do you think's going to happen? It's going to be a goal. It's Rebecca Cook, and that's a quick 1-0 lead for Quinnipiac. And moving on to the second half, maintaining the high level of play for Quinnipiac. It's a dynamic duo, Corny Chokol, who gets it right here. She passes it to who else? Rebecca Cook, as she scores her second goal, and the dynamic duo is on fire. As the 2 goals weren't enough, the Bobcats kept pouring it on as Paige LeBerg taps it in for her first goal of the season, put the Bobcats up 3-0. And the game looks like it's going to be over, but we got to wait and see because as we head into the 80th minute, the Black Bears finally get on the board with a crazy shot from Selah Clark, putting it just over the fingertips of Sophia Lopinzo. But you would think Quinnipiac's trying to give the game away. As Selah Clark, you'll see score a second goal right here to give the Bobcats a 3-2 lead still, but they're going to hold on. And they're going to get the victory, and they will hope to maintain this momentum and take on Fordham Rams on Wednesday at 2:30. Women's soccer beat reporter Connor Core has more about the dynamic duo Rebecca Cook and Corny Chokol.
Salt and pepper, peanut butter and jelly, Rebecca and Courtney. The dynamic duo for Quinnipiac's offense have scored combined 7 goals over the past 4 games, and their relationship off the field has something to do with it.
I think it came from the spring as well. We played in a lot of scrimmages together up front, and then this year I think all my goals so far, apart from the PK today, have come from Courtney, which is obviously good. And then obviously she links in well with me, and then also the other forwards too. So we live together and we do everything together. So I'm sure that plays a part in it as well.
Head coach Dave Clark gave Cook and Chokol credit both on the technical level and how it benefits their team to overall success.
Rebecca and Courtney, in terms of their movement, is very clever. They both got experience as players. So when you've got players like that, you've got to utilise them. But then what it does is it frees up space. You know, Mark wasn't in today, but it'll free up space for a Liv Kay or a Paige. So it's not just those two together. It's can they bring other players into the game?
The 2 forwards will look to improve their scoring output on Wednesday against Fordham. For Q30 Sports, I'm Connor Core.
We are joined by women's soccer beat reporter Santino Mayon for his insight for the team's recent success. Santino, what were your takeaways from Quinnipiac's game versus Maine?
Yeah, Keith, you said it in the highlight. They dominated the first 80 minutes of the game, and in the final 10 minutes, they let up 2 goals from the same player, Skylar Clark, in just 47 seconds. The Bobcats need to be able to close games strongly, heading into MAC play especially, because they're going to face high-level competition, such as Niagara, such as even teams like Ryder, too, Siena. Those teams are going to make them pay for their mistakes. They have to clean that up. Other than that, they were phenomenal in the first 80 minutes of the game.
All right, Tino, who needs to maintain a high level of play all year for the Bobcats to be successful in the MAC?
Yeah, Gage, I mean, the obvious answer is Rebecca Cook, but we know what she can do. She scored 2 goals against Maine, 2 against Stony Brook, and both those games were wins. But we got to be honest here. It's Sofia Lospinoso, the starting goalie. She has improved her passing astronomically between this season and last year. She's much better at giving opportunities for guys like Rebecca Cook, for players such as Courtney Chokel. She gives those opportunities for them, people in the midfield and the forwards. If she can continue to maintain her high level of passing if she maintains that high level of passing throughout the rest of the season, they're going to be virtually unstoppable when they get into MAC play.
Santino, one last question is, what is the true potential of the women's soccer team this year, and how far can they go based off this hot start?
Keith, if I'm being honest with you, there are a lot of good teams in the MAC. I mentioned Ryder, Siena, I mentioned even Niagara. Monmouth has left. This team won 6 out of the last 9 MAC titles. They were dominant when they were here, and obviously they left the MAC now. So if I'm being honest, their ceiling, it's to win the MAC championship. I think Quinnipiac is probably the most talented team in the MAC. I expect them to be able to go far in the MAC tournament and, again, win the MAC championship. But as star player Rebecca Cook said, it's the MAC. Anything can happen, so we're going to just have to wait and see how the season plays out heading into MAC play and the MAC tournament.
We are going to step aside and take a quick break. But when we come back, we will be talking our favorite fall sports, field hockey and volleyball. Stick with us.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. What? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The field hockey team had their first game of the season on August 26th against the New Hampshire Wildcats. The Bobcats lost the season opener 3-1. Sophomore forward Lucia Pompeo tied the game 1-1 in the third period, but the Wildcats went on to score 2 goals to give the Bobcats their first loss of the season. Spain native and first-year goaltender Cristina Torres started the game. Torres led the U18 Spanish national team to a gold medal at the Spanish National Championship earlier this year. After UNH's rain-delayed victory, met up with fellow Q30 Field Hockey beat reporter Clever Stripes to discuss the team in the first episode of our new show, The Penalty Corner.
Welcome to episode 1 of The Penalty Corner. I'm Keith Savage here with Clever Stripes, and the Field Hockey team had their first game of against University of New Hampshire. They lost 3-1, but Clever, what were your thoughts about the game?
The Bobcats did fall 3-1, but they learned a lot through that game. They had a feeling out process with UNH in the early part of the game. They did fall 3-1, but they played through 2 separate rain delays, Keith. That was a very difficult game for them to have to go through. I'd say the biggest takeaway was that they just didn't have the penalty corner conversions. They went 0 for 8 on the PC for the afternoon. That's just simply not something you want to do if you're going to get a win against a tough America East team.
Definitely. And talking about the goalies, where they couldn't convert against New Hampshire, but we have 3 goalies that could get the starting job for the season. And we got Christina Torres, Mac Farrell, and Nina Santor. How do you think that's going to all work out?
Yeah, the goalie situation is interesting for this team. You have Christina Torres, a first year. She played in the U18 European Championships. She won a bronze medal with Team Spain. And then you have 2 veterans, Nina Santor and Mac Farrell, who have been on this team for multiple years. Both have kind of shared starting duties last season. They kind of split time in the cage. I think it's really anyone's game at this point, but Christina Torres could get a lot of good looks early.
Yeah, Farrell started about 11 in the games last year, which the Torres started at 4. They were both interesting, but last year the big thing was offense. Mazzarelli had 10 of the 18, but do you think it's going to look different this year?
Yeah, the Bobcats need secondary scoring depth. Like you just said, Mazzarelli scoring 10 out of the 18 total goals scored by Quinnipiac in the entire year. You need more scoring up and down your lineup. They have weapons coming back like Juliana Capella, Lucia Pompeo, Stella Titmeyer, but they're adding new first years that look really strong. One that stands out to me is Cameron Brower. She had a couple of really good attempts at the net at UNH on the game on Friday. She looked like she was going to score during the first quarter, but Gemma Woods denied her and the ball went wide. So you have that secondary scoring depth coming in, and I think that's really going to help the Quinnipiac Bobcats in the long run.
Sign off for the Penalty Corner. I'm Keith Savage here with Clever Stripes. Stay tuned for more with Q30 Sports.
Next, the Bobcats started out the weekend trip to Maine against the Dartmouth Big Green on Saturday. The Bobcats came out victorious with their first win in the air, defeating Dartmouth 4-1. The 4 goals were highlighted by senior forward Stella Titmeyer, who scored 2 before the game. The German native did not have a single collegiate score before that. Other 2 makes were by seniors Josie Sweeney and Eva Veltors. Last season, the Bobcats started out the season on a 9-game losing streak. The team also scored 4 or more goals once in the 3-win season. The Bobcats had a big test on Sunday against the number 22 ranked team in the country, the Maine Black Bears. Quinnipiac won the game 1-0 with a lone goal from sophomore forward Amelia Mazzarelli. Yes, you heard that right. The Bobcats defeated a ranked team. It is the first time since October 2016 that a Becca Maine squad defeated a top 25 team. First-year goaltender Christina Torres completed the shutout with 10 saves. The Bobcats have not finished the season with a winning record since 2013. We'll have to wait and see if that streak ends this year.
Taking a stroll from the field hockey field to Burkon Court, let's hear the volleyball team in Stony Brook. In the first game of the season, the Bobcats came on the short end of a 3-0 sweep by the Stony Brook Seawolves in what turned out to be a defensive game. The Seawolves used their height to their advantage in this game by leading in digs and blocks. Meanwhile, the Bobcats were 2 points away from winning the game against Fordham in the 4th set, but the lack of experience of the first years showed as they couldn't secure the victory. Although the Bobcats lost both games, they did have a first year that came into the spotlight. Ginevra Giovanni took home MAC Player of the Week honors after having a phenomenal start to her collegiate career. In her first game against Stony Brook, she recorded 9 kills. She then followed up the first performance with 22 kills. That made up 1/3 of the kills from the entire team that game. The Italian Stallion is one of 5 first years Kyle Robinson recruited this offseason. Majority of the first years this season are from international waters. Following back-to-back losses to open the season, the Bobcats made the trek to Delaware for the Hornets Invitational. Loyola Maryland, with a late withdrawal from the tournament, made the first game against Hartford. And the last time they played Hartford was in the Yale Invite, where the Bobcats lost in 5 sets. But Kyle Robinson, the Bobcats, looking to get into the win column in Delaware. We kick things off in the first set. It'll be Alexandra Tennant on the right side of your screen as she'll give it to Chloe Kaanui, who finds Alyssa Mejia outside, and she drills it home for the kill. Quinnipiac will win the first set 25-9. Going to the second set, Quinnipiac not laying off the gas pedal just yet. It'll be Mejia once again being served a layup from the Kaanui. And Quinnipiac dominates the second set as well, 25-6, and they lead the match 2-0. Heading into the third set, the Bobcats are trailing early, but not for long as first-year Bailey Brashear tries to change the pace as she catches the Hawks defense napping. However, Hartford will take the third set, 25-22, and we go into a fourth set. The dynamic duo, Lexi Morse, coming through with a kill off of the serve by Kaanui, and it'll be a fourth set victory by the Bobcats, and they'll win the match 3-1. Following their first win on the season, the Bobcats took on the Delaware State Hornets. Let's see how they fared. And this game was all Hornets as they won in 3 straight sets against Quinnipiac. The Bobcats came close to forcing a fourth set as they lost 25-20 in the third. In another defensive game on the backcourt, it was a front court Hornets attack that really came through in the 3-0 victory. Giovagnoni, Tennant, and Legg were the ones who led the Bobcats offense in kills with 7, 6, and 4 respectively. Moving outside of Burkhan, the women's rugby team took on the Brown Bears to begin their season. The Bobcats were able to start their season in the win column after taking down the Brown Bears 47-14. 8 Bobcats recorded at least 1 try in the 33-point rout. The Bobcats jumped out to an early 25-0 lead at the end of the first half and did not look back. Cassidy Dugdale led the way for Quinnipiac, finding the try-zone twice.
The men's cross-country team began the year Saturday at the Stony Brook season opener. The Bobcats finished in last place of the 6 teams that competed. Graduate student Cam Starr finishes the highest runner for Quinnipiac with a time of 19 minutes and 50 seconds. The next competition is Saturday at the Siena Cross Country Invitational. Well, we're going to enter one more commercial break, so stay tuned for more. As I'm Keith Savage alongside Gage Coburn. Gage, ready for the last turn?
Of course.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to the last stretch of Sports Ball. Let's get right into it. The men's ice hockey team named their captains for the upcoming season. Defenseman graduate student Zach Metza was named the team captain. He's the 49th captain in Quinnipiac program history. Forward graduate students Ethan DeYoung, Desi Burgard, and Michael Lombardi were named the assistant captains for the year. Metza and DeYoung were both assistant captains last year, while this is the first time for Lombardi and Burgard. A number of former Quinnipiac women's ice hockey stars signed contracts with the Premier Hockey Federation this summer. Taven spent 4 years with the Bobcats, who was highlighted with Courtney Schroeder, Emma Greco, and Anna Kilponen. Greco and Taven were both with Toronto Six as Schroeder joined Boston Pride. as kill opponent joined the River Tiers. But overall, some big news come from the women's ice hockey side, as there's a lot of stars right here.
The women's ice hockey team will see a familiar face as Melissa Samoskevich is making her way back to Hamden. She'll be the Director of Operations for women's ice hockey. If this name sounds familiar, she was a former defenseman for the Bobcats and her sister. Maddie currently plays for the Bobcats before working for the Bobcats. She was an assistant coach for the Penn State women's ice hockey team. Quinnipiac women's ice hockey forward Lexia Gia was selected to Hockey Canada's National Women's Development Team. The 2022 Mandy Schwartz Student Athlete of the Year played in all 39 games for the Bobcats this past season. She was the fourth best forward in the face-off circle last season with 526 wins. Agia has tallied 93 points in over 125 games during her tenure with the Bobcats.
Former Quinnipiac men's basketball star Cam Young was on the Cleveland Cavaliers Summer League team in July. Young had 5 games he finished with double-digit points for Cleveland. The 6'6" wing was the 2019 All-MAC Player of the Year, which was highlighted by a 55-point game versus Siena. Young ended his collegiate career averaging 23.5 points while having a single-season program record for made three-pointers with 104. Former Quinnipiac women's basketball standout Edel Thornton was named the senior captain for Ireland's senior team in August. Thornton was with the Bobcats for 4 years, from 2016 to 2019. She helped the team win 3 MAC championships and win 3 NCAA tournament games. Bobcats women's basketball head coach Trisha Fabry says, quote, "We are thrilled for Edel, but not surprised by this honor."
This week we asked you on Twitter which game you are most excited to see this fall, and this is what you had to say. 45% of you were looking forward to the women's soccer game against Siena in a rematch of last year's MAC semifinals that ended in penalty kicks in favor of the Bobcats. The second favorite event was the men's soccer game against Marist, and in third, it was volleyball's home game against defending MAC champions Fairfield in October. Well, Keith, we now reach that time of the night, the top 5 plays of the week. How about I do the odds, you do the evens?
That sounds great to me.
All
Start it
right.
out.
Let's roll the tape. We start off top 5 plays of the week, starting off with number 5 in the volleyball court. And against Hartford, it is Alexandra Tennant getting the bump to Chloe Kaanui and sets up Lisa Bahia, and she finishes off the point with a huge spike.
Play forwards for my favorite fall sport, field hockey, right here, as they look to get their only goal against Maine, as Amelia Mazzarelli gets the deflection and scores. Quinnipiac wins.
Now play number 3, volleyball once again, and it is the first-year Italian stallion, Ginevra Giovanni, getting up and laying one down. You see in the instant replay, bam! Finds the open hole in the defense of Hartford. Quinnipiac takes that 3-1.
Play 2. Let's move to men's soccer right here, as this amazing feed to David Bursato as he scores, who threads the needle for the second goal of the game.
And our top plays coming in field hockey once again, making their way to the top 5 this week. It'll be Dartmouth's, again, it'll be senior Stella Titmeyer breaking to the left side of the net and goes up top shelf. Usually you see that in ice hockey, but never really in field hockey. We see once again on the instant replay, not only does she hit top shelf, but she's going down when it hits the top of the post. Quinnipiac goes on to win 4-1. Now that you are all caught up with Quinnipiac sports, let's take a look at what we have planned for this upcoming weekend. This Wednesday, the women's soccer team will take on the Fordham Rams out of the Atlantic 10 Conference at 2:30 p.m. in Hamden. Tomorrow, the men's soccer team will be on the road in Northeastern to take on the Huskies. That game will kick off set for 6 o'clock. The volleyball team making another road trip, this time to Kentucky for the Comfort Invitational. Their first game is on Friday at 11 against Morehead State. Finally, the field hockey team will travel to Lafayette to face off against the Leopards following their impressive win on Sunday.
Well, field hockey is my favorite sport of the spring. They have 2 games this weekend, so Sunday against Long Island, but they haven't had a winning record after 4 games in a long time. I don't even know how long, but it's been more than 6 years.
Okay. But I know you're excited about that, but volleyball has a real chance to make it to the NCAA tournament. I mean, fair preseason top 3 to finish in the conference. I think they can take down Fairfield, though, and take the MAC.
I hope so, but that's how we're going to wrap it up today. And me and Gage Kilburn had a blast today, and we look forward to more.
Yes, please sure to check out all of our content on at Q30 Sports and on Q30TV.com. For everyone behind the scenes at Studio 125, that is Keith Savage. I'm Gage Kilburn. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.